Hey, Random here. So, if I wasn't lazy, I would film this video around the house. You know, do one scene in my bed, one scene in the living room, and so on. However, I am lazy. And also my phone has a crappy camera. Not like my webcam is really that much better, of course, but still. So that means I kind of have to film here. But hey, at least I have a green screen to make it look professional, right? Oh, I need a new hobby. So, you've all read the title, so I'm not going to waste time repeating. Instead, let me just reiterate. While I love shows like Hamilton, it is not underrated. It is one of the biggest shows in the 21st century. And while you could argue that every Broadway show is underrated, because Broadway itself is underrated, let's be honest here. That is a topic for another video. And when I say another video, I mean never, because I'll probably never cover it lit. I'm being real here. I'll be chatting about each musical in no particular order. Seriously, it's just whatever order I felt like when I wrote the script. Don't overthink this. Oh, and let me give you one promise. No matter what, I can guarantee that you will not have heard of at least one musical on this list. I promise you that. With that out of the way, let's go to the first musical. Something Rotten was honestly pretty easy to miss. It went straight on Broadway, and it lasted for less than 2 years. It actually did pretty well for the first year, and then Hamilton came out. So basically I got Hamilton, which, fair warning, a lot of shows on this list have been Hamilton. I'm just gonna tell you that in advance. Something Rotten is about a feud between Shakespeare and the Bottom Brothers. I actually looked it up to see whether these Bottom Brothers were real, and no, they're not. I feel stupid for thinking they were. What's really fun though is that Shakespeare is actually the villain, and he is one of the best villains in Broadway history. Yes, better than King George. It's definitely more of a junk food musical. It's funny, but it's not mind-blowing, and I'd honestly call it mediocre overall. But hey, it's quite cheeky, and frankly, I think it deserves a second chance. 6 out of 10. Alright, if you've heard of this musical, you knew it was going to be on here. Come From Away is an absolutely phenomenal musical, and quite frankly, it's a must. Come From Away tells the story of September 11th, 2001 from a different angle. One of compassion that is underappreciated. It tells of the events in the lens of a small Canadian town called Gander. You see, after the main event, the US airspace was closed for the obvious reasons. This forced 38 planes to land in Gander because they couldn't travel in the US airspace. The residents of Gander helped care and house and feed the passengers until they were able to leave and fly again. And they tell it in the best way possible. It's actually based on a true story, which is what makes it so surreal. It's a tearjerker while being hilarious at the same time. It's amazing. And I actually have some great news for fans and non-fans alike, because actually I don't think a lot of fans of Come From Away even know about this, but it's getting a Hamilton level pro shot in September, and it's going to come out on HBO Max. I am so excited for this! 10 out of 10! Okay, I'm just saying, there is literally no excuse for Newsies to be this underappreciated. There is literally a pro shot which I would say is of a higher quality and higher effort than the Hamilton pro shot on Disney+. This is a phenomenal pro shot. You should all go watch it right now. Newsies tells the true story of the newsboy strike of 1899, where newsboys in New York struck for 2 weeks for better pay and just generally better working conditions. It's a pretty classic story of revolution, and frankly, it's not that complex. It's actually pretty predictable a lot of the time. But despite it not really being groundbreaking in terms of plot, it more than makes up for that in its characters. Like, look at this face and tell me that that is not absolutely legendary. Tell me that that is not funny. The music's good, the writing's good. Overall, it's just a really well-rounded musical that frankly deserves more praise. And also, the actors in the pro shot were absolutely amazing. And I really hope that they went on to lead successful lives in the theater world. I didn't look it up because I'm too lazy to do that, but still, I really hope they got a lot of success from, doing that. 8 out of 10. Right, so licensed musicals have always been very hit or miss in the past. For every SpongeBob the Musical, there's a Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. But frankly, School of Rock the Musical is fantastic. It's been a long time since I've seen the movie, and I always thought it was fine for one watch. But the musical straight up made me cry. That's how good it is. It's obviously very rock heavy when it comes to its music, but there's some standard musical theater repertoire as well. And overall, I'd say this is the definitive way to experience the School of Rock story. It actually got nominated for a few Tonys, but it didn't win a single one. You know what? I find that to be criminally unjust. Let me look it up and see what won that year. It came out the same year as Hamilton. I'm so sorry, School of Rock. 7 out of 10. Hadestown is a modern retelling of a myth in Greek mythology. The story of Orpheus. Sorry, I don't know how that got there. In all seriousness, while this is a modern version of the tale, it's much more somber and serious. And it's told in the most heartbreaking way possible. The tale is about a musician named Orpheus who goes down to the underworld to help bring back his dead wife. He goes to Hades and asks him to let Orpheus, bring his wife back up to the overworld. And Hades eventually agrees on one condition. When they walked up to the surface, he must look straight ahead, and he may not look at his wife for 1 second, and she has to walk directly behind him, and he's not allowed to look back once. And that seems random, but there is a reason, trust me. And I won't spoil it, but let's just say it doesn't have a happy ending. The cast recording is phenomenal, the music's great, everything is great. 9 out of 10. Hey, editing random here. I've re-listened to Hadestown ever since I first recorded this video and scripted this video in its entirety, and I have to say, 9 out of 10 is way too mean. It is a 10 out of 10, easy. It is a fantastic musical. I cannot recommend it enough. 36 Questions is honestly a weird one. Not in a bad way, not at all. It's a self-proclaimed podcast musical, where it's basically a cast recording with dialogue in between songs, but it's not performed on stage. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but basically just think of it as a cast recording. The musical is about a husband and wife trying to reassemble their marriage after, okay, you know what, I'm not actually going to spoil this one, because I feel bad for spoiling the last one. So this is one you're just gonna have to listen to for yourself. The main characters are played by Jesse Shelton and Jonathan Groff. Like that Jonathan Groff. Yeah. The music is excellent, the acting is great, and considering you can listen to this for free on Spotify, even if you don't have Spotify Premium, I'd say this is worth a good 3 hours of your time. 8 out of 10. Okay, final musical. And you know what? Let's say you're a musical guru. Let's say you've heard of nearly every single musical on this list. Or let's say you're a self-proclaimed musical elitist. You've just been skipping through this video, not thinking it's worth your time to watch a video with musicals you've already heard of. Well, I'll give you about 5 seconds to check that ego right at the door, or check your expectations right at the door. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. You have not heard of The Anxiety Project. The Anxiety Project focuses on various themes of mental health. It's so sad, yet it's ridiculously good. The music especially is fantastic, better quality than what I would hear from some full-fledged Broadway musicals. And honestly, I listened to the cast recording at a time where I really needed to hear it. So there's a point in its favor. Now, why did I bank so hard on you having not heard of this musical? Easy. This musical has combined 5,000 views over 22 different tracks. That's about an average of 200 to 250 views per video. Let's add like the 1 or 2 live shows it's ever had, and then you can probably bump that number up to about 300 when you consider those who have probably even heard of the musical. And that's a crime in my eyes, because this show is so raw and real in what it sets out to do. I tip my imaginary hat to the creators of the show, Rachel Dean and David Brush, because what they've created is really fantastic, and again, beats out a lot of full-scale Broadway musicals for me in nearly every way. Its full, complete cast recording is actually available for free here on YouTube, so I'll link it in the description. You should absolutely go listen to it. Overall, I say it's a solid 8 out of 10. So those were just 7 underrated musicals that I wanted to talk about today. There's definitely a ton more that I wanted to add, but I just didn't have the time. So here's a list of just some of the musicals that I wanted to include. Isn't that exciting? So yeah, that's gonna be pretty much it. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to tell me in the comments below, along with that musical recommendation, of course. I don't normally post content in this vein. I usually post gaming content, specifically, you know, Nintendo. But if you want to stick around, then I'm going to probably do a review of the Come From Away Pro Shot when it comes out in September. So, stick around for that. Anyways, I'll see you all next time in a video that my core audience actually cares about. Yeah, Celeste Chapter 9. Alright, bye.